Hello everyone, this is the Girl Fiend.
No one cares. Take your top off, baby.
Shut up!
What are you gonna do about it? Oh, God damn it!
You learn your lesson.
Shit! Well, the campaign for KONY 2012 has come to an end. Yesterday on 4/20, yes, the annual day where every pothead likes to go out and get high, which is pretty much every day anyway, but still, for some reason this was set aside to be the blanket the night day. For those of you who don't remember what that is, there was that KONY 2012 video where you were supposed to buy your action kits and get your little posters and bracelets and put up posters about this Joseph Kony around town and blanket the night. And last night I couldn't believe it. I actually had a number of correspondents, for lack of a better term, people that were communicating with me in various cities across the world, not just in America, people who are in touch with me via Twitter, via my email, via my YouTube inbox, and I just wanted to know what the activities were in your specific cities, and I got the feedback in this morning. I couldn't believe it. I was absolutely stunned, because guess what? Barely anyone had anything to report about this. The few instances where KONY 2012 posters were put up, there was a number to 2, 3 stories in those towns where people were just going around ripping the posters down. There was so much just controversy and just hatred that was just developing from this whole situation, from this whole story, from this whatever you want to call it. This whole KONY 2012 thing fell flat on its ass, except for one aspect. The guy behind it. You know, that guy that wandered out into the streets and was masturbating naked on that corner of Hollywood Boulevard or wherever the hell he was. He made some money off of this. But that aside, you know what? I'm not even going to rip into him because he's got bigger problems to deal with than all the people that are going to be jumping up his ass for making money off this campaign that, in essence, did nothing. What I really want to point out now, and I had an idea about making this video months ago. I wanted to make this video years ago, just never got around to it. And that is what the real problem is when movements like this come about. Now, is this KONY 2012 movement idealistically very good? Absolutely it is. No one wants to see children being taken away from their parents, put into war camps, trained to fight against their neighbors in their original home country. No one wants to see that. Stuff like that should be stopped. But here's the real problem. No one cares. Now, that may be a broad assertion, but let's think about that. If the world as a just conglomerate community really got together and the majority thought was to stop things like this from happening, why the hell would the world sit idle by while years turn into decades, turn into more decades of imprisonment of these children, of war, of famine, of disease, of suffering? Do you think the majority of the world cares that the continent of Africa has an AIDS rate that is in some cases 10 times more than most second and first world countries? Do you think the world opinion really gives a shit that the mortality rate, the age in which people die, is in some cases 10 to 30 years younger than most first and second world countries? Folks, these problems have been there for decades, and nothing has really been done about it. Now, everyone wants to make it sound like, oh yes, I care, and I'm going to show you I care by giving my verbal support, by, you know, wearing a ribbon, by putting up a poster, all these little frivolous things to show that you care. What do they really do? Now I know you're going to be like, well, Archfiend, they raise awareness, and raising awareness is helping to solve the issues. What is it really going to do in the long term? Now, when these issues build up for years and years and years, it takes a lot more than just getting the message out to just break the proverbial chain and locks to help stop the rates of AIDS from increasing, to stop the number of kids being imprisoned, to stop all these countries in Africa that are warring with each other. Now, I want to tell you right now, do I care about all these children that are dying in Africa? Yeah, I do. I can say it's touching, you know, it's something I don't think should be going on. Will I do anything about it? No, I probably never will. Now, I know a lot of you out there are going to be like, wow, you're one heartless son of a bitch. Why aren't you going to do anything about it? The reason why is because the people that can change the whole situation are the people that are looking out for their best interests. And the realistic nature of this situation is a continent like Africa, nothing against certain parts of it that produce a lot of good things that are consumable by the first and second and third world countries. The majority of these war-torn areas, and where all this strife and all this suffering, where a lot of this disease is spreading, are from parts of this continent that, in all honesty, what are we going to get in return? Now, that may be sadistic to say, and why countries, a lot of first world and second world countries for that matter, won't intervene in areas like this. But that's reality. Do you think there's any reason, do you need to know the reason why we went into Iraq? Why it was more logical to go into Iraq than compared to Iran? Both countries have oil, it's just Iraq has a hell of a lot more oil. We can go over all issues like that, and we can talk till we're all blue in the face. But this country and the decision makers and the people with the ultimate power to do more than just wear a ribbon and put up a poster in the middle of the night, the people that can really affect change, are either givers or takers from givers, and they want something in return. It is in their best interest to get something in return. With all due respect, how many of you out there want to just go out there and put your life on the line for no real good cause and concern? Some of you may want to do that. I, for one, don't really want to do that. How much time do I want to invest for something where I'm not going to really see much in return? Where I know if 1,000 people like me do the same actions, we're not going to see much in return. Folks, this KONY 2012 movement reached out to tens of millions of people and got tens of millions of people to support it. And what did this blanket the night thing amount to? It amounted to a bunch of people wanting to get these little help kits that couldn't even get them because they sold out. And the people that did get them, half their posters were torn down by daybreak. What did that really do? That was an effort that had tens of millions of people behind it, putting up posters and wanting to show that they care. What would have really done if everyone got out and blanketed the streets and there was KONY 2012 up everywhere? What really would have happened? Would have raised awareness? There's already tens of millions and now probably hundreds of millions of people, because this guy that directed the KONY 2012 video was all over national news broadcasts. I saw him on the Today Show, I saw him on Good Morning America, I saw him on a number of nationally broadcasted shows. All in all, I would say it's safe to say hundreds of millions of people saw his message, saw him, saw what the movement was about. And how many people cared by this morning? From the looks of things and the feedback I'm getting from the articles I'm seeing on Google, not many. Not many people at all. A drop in the bucket compared to everyone that was exposed to this. So, I want to ask you guys, do you really care? Do you honestly really care? What if I told you by tomorrow morning 100 kids that were taken captive by KONY are going to be gunned down in the middle of a war-torn Kenya or anywhere, just pick any nation that's having war and strife or anything like that. If 100 kids are going to get mowed down by machine guns tomorrow, would that honestly affect your life? Now, let's say there's a place where you go to get like a Frappuccino, like the corner Starbucks. What if I told you that Starbucks was going to be shut down tomorrow? What would honestly affect your life more? Now, probably a lot of you out there are probably saying the Starbucks, and if you're honest with yourself, something like that, a little inconvenience to your daily routine, would be more upsetting to you than knowing 100 nameless, faceless kids that you don't know of in Africa just got gunned down. Now, you may say it's sadistic, it's crude, it's rude to think of something like that. But I'm being honest with telling you how I feel. In my opinion, and a lot of other people think the same way about me, and that is the honest-to-God situation. So, the KONY 2012 thing, it just got worse as it was going along. Just the whole message started getting mixed up. People were saying, well, is KONY even alive? Does he even have half his amount of power? Is this guy just doing it to make it look like he's doing something because a weakened KONY will get taken down and shown in front of the world? And by God, there's going to be 100 other KONYs that are going to replace this guy. It's like, who cares? Kim Jong-il just died in North Korea. I guess North Korea is a great democratic state and they're just letting tourists in and everything. Last I checked, North Korea is trying to shoot off nuclear missiles and show that they can. This is the world we live in, people, and we gotta face facts. The people that can change things aren't the people that can go out in the streets and put up posters. They're the politicians, the lead executives, the big corporations, everyone that wants to only invest time and effort that can change a situation like this, that is only going to want to go into an area unless they can get something in return. What do you get out of going to a lot of these areas? I mean, let's face facts. A lot of these areas are bone dry, there's no oil, some have a few precious minerals, and that's about it. We live in a very materialistic world, and I guarantee you the majority of the people that are watching this are just as materialistic. So don't go pointing your finger at me saying, no, I honestly want to change. Do you really? Do you really honestly want to change things? Do you really want to put your butt on the line? Do more than just go out and put up a poster? Give me a break. Anyway, that's just my 2 thoughts on this situation. Or just 2 cents. I kind of just messed up that. But you know what? I shoot these in one take. I'll keep going. So, I don't know, what did you guys all think about the KONY 2012 movement? Did you guys see any KONY paraphernalia plastered around your town? Because all I'm seeing, I did a search on Google and I saw the news reports and there's just a few posters here and there. Half of them are ripped down. There's more stories popping up every minute now that they're just people just ripping them down because they're just disgusted with what the whole message turned into. So, KONY 2012, epic fail, all these movements, what did they really accomplish? Let's do more than wear ribbons if we want to really change things. Let's get up politicians' asses. Let's get up the big companies' asses. Get them to change because they are the only ones that can really change. Or we can start trying to change the way our governments run because in all honesty, like I said, it's the give and take and the takers want to be the givers and the givers want to have something to take back. So, that's the realistic nature of the situation, and it may be crude to say that, you know, I really don't care what happens to these kids in Africa. Does that make me racist? No, because I don't care what happens to kids in China and Russia and anywhere else, because it is a product of the society that we live in. And humans are just gluttonous, keep for yourselves, protect for yourselves, who cares, it's not in my backyard type asshole people. That's what humanity is. And if you say it isn't, you're kidding yourself. That is all.